Hello everyone. So today we are going to work on how to spawn terrain, how to generate terrain in the runtime based on the player's location. So that means this is the player location. This is the player start object that I have placed at the moment. It's not in the origin of the world because earlier terrain was generated only around the origin of the world. So now if I move this somewhere over here, this play start position, and play the game, you see the terrain is generated around that place. So if I go back to the top view, you can see here is the terrain, here is the world origin. Now if I move it here and play, see the world is generated still, and it's this time over here. So this is what we are going to work on today. So the reason that I'm working on this system is because I want to implement a way to dynamically generate landscape tiles as the player moves around the world. So towards that I am working on, and this would be another step towards that goal. So by the way, this jetpack system is something I implemented in another tutorial. I'll show the link to that also and leave the link to that also in the description below. But it's not necessary to use this jetpack character. You can use anything you want. I'm just using this because it's easier for me to traverse in the world with the jetpack. And before we get started, as always, I'd like to remind you that you can download all the project files of this project and all other projects that I have done in my channel in the Patreon page. So once you become a member, you can download all thousands of projects that I have done without a limit. So I'll leave the link in the description. Feel free to check it out. That would greatly help me to continue the work that I'm doing in my channel. So I have shown you how to implement a jetpack system in Unreal Engine in these two tutorials. So I'll share the link in the description below, and I have imported that jetpack character into this terrain generation project because the next step is implementing infinite terrain, but to test that we need a character. So here we have our character. Now at the moment what happens is we can fly around, but the terrain is static, so it has only this tile. So we need to find a way to make it spawn as the player move around the level. So the first step would be when the player start from some location, we need to identify that location and spawn terrain tiles around that location. So let's work on that first. Okay, so let me open my Blueprint PP World. One more thing, so here you may have noticed if I increase this cell size, now you see this texture scale changes with that. So this is too large. So it would be better if we can keep a constant texture scale despite the cell size we provide. So there is an easy fix for that. So here, when we generate the terrain and calculate UVs and set the UVs here, so what's the correct scale for the, let's try 100. Where is the terrain? Over there. No, I can't see the terrain. Okay, we are under the terrain. Right, at 100 we do have a correct scale. I think you can set this scale in the tiling options of the material as well, but it would be better to have a constant scale despite this cell size. So what we can do is, here I think nothing happens here, or no, some stuff is going on. So when we calculate here is, if we get the cell size, so 400, as I said 400, we get the correct cell size. So if I divide whatever the cell size we have with from 100 and then multiply it with this value for both, then regardless of the lower scale we set, regardless of the cell size we set, we will have a constant texture scale. Let's test that. If I make it 1000, see, the scale is not changed. If I make it 10,000, still its scale remains same, the texture scale I mean. Okay, let me set this back to 1000. Okay, so now the main goal here is not this texture scale stuff. The main goal is to work on the identifying the tiles around the player and spawning them. Alright, so first thing is, if we want to have tiles around the player, maybe we should have at least more than one tile. So I'll make this 2 by 2. So this is what we have, and if I go to the top view, I can see it's like this. My player character is over here. Okay, now here if I move the player character, well obviously it falls down because there is no more terrain. Okay, now I'll write a function to get a index value. That means here we give a parameter called section index in the, where do we do that? Here in the begin play, we give section index x, section index y. So basically this means the tile index of the tile. So based on the player location, we need to find the index of the tiles that we need to spawn in the level. So to explain that, let me first take a screenshot from here. No, this is enough. So here, just imagine this one square or one cell represent a tile in the terrain. So let's say player is in a location like this. So that means we need to spawn this tile, this tile, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, if we have a 3 by 3 tile set. So now if this is the origin, this may be -1 x index cell, this is -2 x index cell, -3 x index, and y may be also -1. Okay, so something like that. Well, that depends on the direction that we are considering. If downside is positive, plus is negative, because this green arrow is here, red arrow is here, so this side is negative, and in y direction this side is negative. So this may be -1, this may be -2, this is +1, +2. So that's why I consider the points as -1, -1. Okay, then let's go back here, this function get player position index relative to the cell size that we are considering. Okay, now get player character, and you can check it's valid, because if we simulate, this might throw an error. If valid, we can get actor location and split this. So we need to find this that index based on this cell size and the number of x vertices and number of y vertices. So if I multiply cell size with x vertex count per tile, this gives us the x length, x size of one tile. Similarly, if I multiply y vertex count with the cell size, this gives us the y length or size in y direction of one cell. And if these two numbers are same, those two will be same. So now if I divide player's x location with this value, we will get this index that we were talking about. Do the same for the y as well. Now I'll add a return node. I'll call this px, stands for player x index, and py, py. I'll make it capital. This should be integers. Okay, and if we don't have, let's simply return 0, 0. Okay, now in the begin play, so here what we do is start generating tiles starting from 0, 0 location. So instead of doing that, let's add a custom event. I'll call it spawn tiles around player. Okay, now here we can get player position index. I'll make it pu, so we don't have to connect it anywhere. Now if the player is in this tile, we should spawn a tile to make sure that player is in the center. So this value, I'll subtract x vertex count divided by 2. This would be a starting index of x loop, and if I add this value, this would be the last index of x loop. Similarly, we can do the same for y vertex as well. Y vertex count divided by 2, and y minus and y plus. Okay, now I think should we convert this to another function? Yeah, maybe collapse to function. Get tiles around player, tile index, well, indices around player. I'll convert this also to PO function, and I'll add the return node. And I'll call this and this x start, x end, and this two y start, y end. Okay, now just like here, we need two for loops and run this terrain generation. So let me cut this from here and bring back here. Then we don't need these two. I'll plug, we were starting with y. Yeah, this one is x. So y start, y end, x start, x end. Okay, now if I go to perspective mode, nothing happens. Wait, where is the terrain? Ah, sorry, I forgot to call this function. Spawn tiles around player. We might need to go up. Infinite loop detected. So is this a problem? Yeah, maybe. No. Sorry. This should be replaced with number of sections x and number of sections y. Not the x vertex count or y vertex count, because we are already in the space of sections. Okay, now if I try, yeah, see, now it's spawned around player. Now if I move somewhere like here and play, see, still the landscape is spawned around the player's location, not in the 0, 0 location. So even if I go here, it should work. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Let me move somewhere else and test. Yeah, still it spawns around the player's location. Now, if I modify the number of vertices, still it should work. See, it's working. Okay, so right now we have a way to spawn landscape tiles based on the player's location, and but still it's not procedurally, like it's not generating as the player travels through the world. So that means if I move here, new tiles should be spawned in front of the player. So let's look into that part in the next episode. Thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available for you to download in Patreon page. Link would be in the description below. And if you like to support my work, you can get the membership of Patreon Club. See you in another episode. Goodbye.